Two krakens race through the water. One is significantly larger than the other. They are being pursued by a writhing mass of tentacles that are jutting out of a black cloud of darkness. The krakens are losing ground and will soon be overcome. Far in the distance, a light shines in the deep. It's too far. The large one lets out a long, sorrowful wail and makes a sharp turn, heading straight back into the cloud of tentacles. The smaller one continues to race forward as fast as it can, the water making it impossible to see the little one's tears. You boys, when we last left off, were um, in Euros, causing a lot of trouble, which is par for the course for you guys. You found an ancient network of brains that was able to communicate to you. You attempted to communicate with it, unknowingly summoning some guardians who were about to show up and destroy it. You fled with Heinrich van der Voort and his wife Beth after killing the electric vampires. But before you could get away, the Maroots destroyed the complex you were in, plunging you into a canyon and burying you alive inside of it. Some quick spell work and some fantastic lucky potion having by Mav helped you to narrowly escape this predicament, only to find yourselves in another one as the Maroots busted into Jeff's Mordenkainen's mansion and chased you from there. And after that, you ended up in a tomb of ancient dwarven kings where you were assaulted by what was that guy's name? Uh,
Starts with a
Blackheart.
B. Yeah.
Yeah. King Blackheart, who nearly destroyed you all, were it not for the timely intervention of some dwarven grave clerics. And that's where we left off. They had created a magical tunnel into the area, the wards in the tomb, forcing the ghostly king back into his crypt. And when one of them saw you, he became visibly angry and said if he knew it was you, he would have left you to die. And then he turned and walked back out of the tunnel. The other two are still there.
Am I still possessed?
You are not possessed,
Oh,
Jeff.
yes, he is. You said that because the guy died, or that wasn't the trigger to let him go.
If we would have
No,
killed him, it
if
wouldn't
we
have
would
been.
have killed him, that wasn't the trigger. But since he's been
Yes.
contained, he is okay.
Oh, is that it? Oh, okay,
Yeah,
okay, okay.
yeah, that was it.
Yes. Hold on just a sec. I need to look
I
something
distinctly
up.
remember that because he also had said that I was really close to ending him, which would have left Jeff still possessed. So it was
Yeah.
fortunate that the dice fell in that favor.
Yeah. Oh, don't be
Because
lying to me.
otherwise Jeff would have killed us for sure. Basically had all his spells back and
Oh, yeah, he was like fully restored. That's right.
yeah, yeah. It
I
was.
didn't know that on the first round, or it would have been a lot worse.
I swore you could have heard that, like, because that was the only thing that was being said at that point, and I was like, oh, that's.
Well, I heard it. It just didn't make sense.
Awesome.
Okay. So what do you guys want to do?
Um, he. So we're still in that tomb.
We're in the crypt.
Yes. You are in the crypt. There is obvious magical wards enabled all over the place that sent Blackheart back into his sarcophagus, his personal crypt. They have freed Jeff of the mind control, and you guys are real beat up.
Um, we we should probably leave this area. We can go through that hole. Is it still available?
It is still available. There are the other two dwarven clerics standing there.
Are they standing like blocking us, or are they standing?
They're flanking the hole
Okay,
that was magically created.
so I guess we'll walk up to. I'll walk up to them and thank them.
They one of them looks at you, the older one, and says, "Well, don't thank us yet. You're all about to be placed under arrest. So, if
Yeah.
you'll kindly proceed through the hole, we can reseal the tomb."
Sure.
How is it that with all of these wards, my teleport was dumb enough to put us in here? Like
Um,
Jeffrey's just looking around at all the wards and he's actively asking that of these mages.
these wards aren't necessarily designed to keep people out. They're
Maybe
designed to keep things in.
we might want
The,
to add a couple.
there are some designed to keep people out, but with the magic misfiring the way that it did, it is much more likely that because this is a focal point to trap something, you were drawn here.
Okay. I'll just make sure to let one of the mages know that we may want to discuss the mishap that got us here.
Yeah, I would just say to after you finish that, Jeff, it might serve us better to not say anything until we have a better idea. Like, basically, I'm saying, don't talk to the police. That's what I'm saying.
I'm.
We should wait till we have a lawyer before we.
We were traveling. We weren't driving. We weren't in their jurisdiction.
So you guys head out the tunnel. The two clerics fall in kind of behind you, and they kind of flank you in the back, and you proceed out. The tunnel's pretty long. This is a 50-foot thick complex built around this um, this crypt that these dwarves are entombed in, and you see it's lined with lead. You see these lead walls every so often in between the stones. Um, there's not any normal circumstances other than major magical mishap that should have brought you here. But since there was a major magical mishap, you were brought here.
Yeah.
And so you're brought out, and there is a small contingent of very well armed and proficient looking guards.
Hands up, don't shoot.
Gotcha.
We know we know we're in the vicinity of Euro.
Yeah,
Right?
you
Yeah,
know.
we know.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay.
But you know which dwarven kings were entombed down here, and you saw the sarcophagi, and you saw who attacked you. You knew you were still in Euros.
Nowhere near where I was trying to go.
Nope.
Sure. Yeah.
I will make a statement because we still have, or actually, that's a really good question. With what happened, is Rary's telepathic bond still active?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I will make a point to let the guys know that one of us should lead the conversation, and I don't know charisma wise where you guys are compared to me and Mav, but Mav also seems very distracted right now, so almost being possessed by a ghost seems to have fried his brain.
Yeah,
I will
just,
take your lead on comments, but I should probably be the one using words.
yeah, no, I absolutely agree with that. The only advice I would say right now is just to remind you that we are on some level being chased by Mechanus. So we should be very careful about what we say, because as much as these dwarves are our brethren, we don't know who else is listening.
Copy that.
Okay.
Fly on the wall.
You see standing off to the side the cleric who got angry inside the tomb. He's standing off behind the other guards, and one of the older guards steps forward and asks you to explain yourselves.
there was a mishap magically, and we found ourselves in a warded tomb. And a really pissed off specter decided it wanted to play with us. And it seems we won.
The grave clerics kind of all like make that one sound, like, and all the guards look at him and they just kind of nod. I don't think anybody here believes you won.
We're alive. I'll take that as a W.
So he tells you he's going to place you under arrest,
That's fair.
and that this will be sorted out in court.
I will, in my brain, ask real quick. Do we want to ask what law we broke, or are we just okay with accepting being charged?
Thanik is 100% okay with being charged.
Copy that.
We would probably have some understanding that we were like trespassing or
Yep. Yep.
something like that, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So unless there's some,
The only thing that I would state is I, as Jeffrey, would believe that at very least I have diplomatic immunity. But I don't know if that applies to the others, or if I actually even have that here like I would have in the rest of Krenshad.
You probably don't in the north anymore.
I kind of figured with the fact that he kind of moved away and the north seceded from the Union, but
yeah. Well, they're all city-states now, so they're all independent, and certain ones are more favorable towards the old empire than others. Euros would be one of the ones that is more favorable, so it wouldn't be 100% guaranteed, but with the right people, you'd have a lot of credit.
In that case, the only thing that I would suggest for Thanak, Mav, or Othig to do is to name drop the fellow that sent you on your mission, because he seemed important. To at least have these people let him know where we are. I wasn't part of that, so I can't.
Yeah, he was the captain of the guard. Is that what he was?
General, I thought.
General Darius Gravelboot.
He was the general. That's right.
Right.
I
just ask if we can speak with him.
Yeah, see, but here's the thing. Having been arrested before, these guys are not going to listen to us.
They seem to be at the moment.
Just
doesn't matter. Doesn't matter.
Just ask.
Yeah.
No. Thanik won't because
all right,
he respects
Othig will.
Yep. There you go. Othig's also a military guy, so.
It's just a question.
Yep.
And I'm going to ask it as respectfully as Othig can.
Yeah, I mean, you're military. You know how to talk to these guys.
Yeah, but they're not military. They're police. There's a difference. There is a huge difference.
It's fine. Anyway, I just want to find out if they would either let us speak with him or send him a message or get him a message in whatever capacity.
Yep. We were on a mission for the general.
Make a persuasion check.
Can I assist him?
Almost there, and I will.
Yep, you can.
Okay.
That in just a second.
Actually,
you can have advantage.
Can I bardic inspiration him? Probably not in this moment, huh?
Nope.
No, those guys probably won't allow that. Somebody had one. Who has one?
I think
Mav's got one. Mav's the one with a bardic inspiration.
That's not very good, but I'm gonna give it a go anyway.
You have advantage.
I have advantage.
Yes.
That was pretty good. For me.
They look at each other, and there's a little bit of whispering in the back, and the one in charge snaps, "I know who they are." It doesn't change what they did.
Is that the dude that doesn't like us? Is that guy?
No.
Okay.
That was the commander. Somebody behind him was whispering something. Like, I guess you could make perception checks to see if you picked up what he whispered.
I don't understand. Are we supposed to know who it is that was like totally disgusted with us? Because I don't actually know.
Nope.
Like
you do not know who that is.
Yeah.
Okay.
And Jeffrey doesn't either. It's actually Tony that knows what's going on
Hang on, I'll make my perception check, even though I think I know how it's gonna go.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's about it.
That's about
So
it.
none of you pick up on what gets said in the back, but they obviously recognize you and name dropped you, and so you are. Some guards come forward. They have some very interesting looking manacles put on you.
I will ask them. This might be a question that I would already know, so I'll ask Mike, and you can figure out how I do this. My hammer, I can magically summon it without
Yeah,
any kind of. Um, would this be something where I would want to have it out first before they put it on me, or
I
would
think you
it?
probably still have it out, wouldn't you? Or
I
would you
mean,
have
yeah.
desummoned it after the fight?
It's usually something where I just put it away right away, just cause just to keep my
Okay.
hands free. Um, but would it be something where I would want the hammer out to give it to them before they put the manacles on me, knowing that it's a summonable hammer and it causes problems with. You know what I mean?
Well, you probably don't want to go summoning a weapon right now.
It would be more along the effects of like I'm going to summon my hammer so I can give it to you peacefully. That type of
Oh,
thing.
okay. If you want to tell them that, that's fine. So you tell them that, and they look at you and said, "Won't matter once these are on."
Okay.
So are you allowing yourselves to be handcuffed?
Vanek, it absolutely is, yeah.
I will look indignant, but I will put my hands out, kind of like Ace Ventura when he's being arrested.
Yeah, I was
Okay.
gonna say when we were being placed under arrest, I was gonna say that too. What do I know what the outcome of my request was?
There was a lot of talking, but they did not
Involve us.
officially respond to it.
Okay, then I guess
But
I'm not gonna push the issue. So
you did cause a stir, but nobody officially responded. So they slap these manacles on you, and the minute they do, you no longer feel attached to any of your magicalness.
Mhm.
These are generating some sort of anti magic field, and you are led away. The guards kind of surround you. They disarm you very politely, though. You can tell some of them are looking at you with indignation, while others are looking at you with quite a bit of respect. And so there's that. And then you see the three clerics take up position in the back of the proceedings. And
Am
yeah,
I
go ahead.
near? Am I near enough to any of the guards that are looking at us with respect, but far enough from the one that said he hated us to try and get any information as to who angry Buttface is?
You could ask.
Okay, I'd want to be near, like, probably near Thanok when I
Mhm.
do that, because I would want to stay near Thanok, as he's probably the one that's the most capable of actually, like, throwing me out of danger.
So here's the thing, though. I would say that you were informed, and the guards were informed to not speak to you.
Oh, okay. Yep. Then never mind.
So
I didn't catch
okay.
that.
No,
Nope.
I
If
didn't
that's the
say it,
case, okay.
but it's just kind of standard. Don't talk to prisoners type thing.
Okay.
And you did pick up a little bit on that when he shut down the chatter about who you guys were. When Othig asked if they could speak to General Gravelboot, but so he shuts it down. So it's about a half an hour walk, and you're taken into a large hall. You see dwarves in robes kind of going about their business, and over the course of this walk, there are several minor tremors in the city, and people are looking about nervously as you're being led about. Um, and as the dwarves, I would say some of the shockwaves from these tremors feel like they come below you. Others feel like they come off to the side. The epicenters seem to be in various places.
Would are they similar to like would we think it's the Maroods destroying property?
It's not a terrible thought, but to say if they're similar, you were way too close to what was
Okay.
going on
yeah.
to be able to like tremor sense that out. But
Sure.
knowing what you just went through and how thoroughly they started blasting
Yeah.
that place, it's not a bad guess.
So would it be anything like when they blew up the pylon holding up the surface underneath the Red Rock Keep?
No, it's
Okay.
not quite like that.
Good,
Because
that was bad.
miles and miles of area that they collapsed. This
I
is
know.
more a large chamber
Okay.
that is being flattened inside of a rocky area rather
Yeah.
than, so.
Clearly, the Maroods
Need
didn't hire
some
the Granitebacks to take care of their
to
work.
destroy their temple.
They got some shoddy work.
They need to
Okay.
learn about blasting powder.
Yeah.
So you're taken into a courtroom, and you are assigned a public defender, and geez, you guys end up in court a lot. This
Yep.
is funny.
I was actually about to ask if we are allowed to request uh, uh, our own lawyer.
If you have one on retainer that could get here quickly.
I would I would find a way to help them acquire the Night Noble's card from my petticoat that he left with me when he delivered the martyr's letter.
Okay. So you pull out the Night Noble's card. You're kind of doing that thing where you're handcuffed and you're pointing to your back pocket that you can't quite reach because you're handcuffed. And somebody goes into your Jeffrey fanny pack because you know your tracksuit has a fanny pack.
Of course it does. It's gold and bedazzled. It says Thug Juice on it.
A card and they're looking at it and the one says it just says Mr. Knight. And as he says that, poof, and there he is standing there. And
Quick enough for you?
He's like, "Hello, Jeff. Good to see you."
Hello.
Boys,
I'll just hold up the manacles.
courtrooms again. Ever did you do this time?
That's a really wonderful question.
Just to say, before we say anything, we should have a private meeting.
These guys didn't even read us our rights.
Well, he's looking around. He's like, bit shabby than a place that I'm used to.
I will grunt loudly in disapproval.
Mr. Thanak, I understand you're particular to your culture, but this building is in a fairly poor state of disrepair. I mean, look at the chipping on the murals and the pillars have cracking in them. It's seen better days. Surely a man of your caliber can appreciate that they've let this place go.
Maybe we can get hired to fix it up.
So, are you here because you attacked somebody who misjudged the architecture?
I guess kind of. No, we'll discuss it in private. If we're allowed. If we're allowed. If we're not allowed, I will give a short synopsis.
So good that we're handicapped.
The idea of getting private console is just dwarves are quick to justice.
Yeah.
They're not going to give you a lot of time to discuss things, but since you just called your legal defense, you have a few moments to explain what's going on.
Yep. So I'll give them the rundown on what I understand, and hopefully these guys will also fill him in on how big of a multi-dimensional problem we're in, given the inevitables showing up and everything else, and these guys, and just ask him what it's going to cost us to get it figured out.
So he makes a face. The minute you start talking about what you did, and you can just see he keeps his crap together. Even when you're facing a trial with Asmodeus, he kept himself together and reserved pretty well. You mentioned that the Maroots showed up because you were playing with old world tech, and his eye starts to twitch. and he says, "Okay, before we go any further, I'm not sure I want to partner with you in this. I'd rather not be a target.
Can you at least deal with the dwarves then?
Sure.
Okay.
I will add
Probably help them find us guilty.
the the court the court that we had downstairs. I was fine with whatever nonsense you brought up, but the court here will be treated with respect.
Are you
He
speaking
looks.
to me or him?
To
He
him,
makes a very like hurt gesture.
you know the one. The
yeah,
I would
yeah,
never.
Me?
yeah.
So, um, and so you say this to him, and he makes this hurt gesture, and he's like, "I just don't even know what you're talking about." And he turns around, and he's got his back to you, and then he turns back, and he's like, "Shall we begin?" And he has like on one of those gigantic British Parliament wigs and a massive book.
Elvish tactics. I love it.
And so he's like, "Don't worry,
Oh my god.
He is
I
worse
know
than
what I'm
me.
doing."
He is worse than
I
Jeffrey.
would rather be found guilty than you make a mockery of
He's,
my
he's
ancestral home.
I'm not mocking anything.
Just
I'm
so
merely
you
doing
know.
my
and as a
job.
note,
Just
we
so
probably
you
are
know.
guilty.
I'm fine with that.
Okay.
I am fine with that. I have.
So,
We are guilty.
yep.
Mavin's not even here to
Well,
lawyer him.
if you're going to plead guilty, it seems a waste to give me a call. I'm here to get you off.
Yes, do that.
So, all right. So the court comes into session, and you are being charged with treasonous level trespassing.
Oh, bucket.
It's high level.
Yeah, you went someplace you should definitely not go, and so they let you know that a few witnesses to describe the scene. They want to know if you have any objections to that.
What you said? Witnesses to describe. They're bringing witness against us. Is that what you said? Basically.
Yes. Yep.
That's fine.
Uh, as far as objection to witnesses, I don't know that we have any reason to object to witnesses other than the fact that the only thing that they would have been able to witness is what they saw once they got there. I think the only objection that I would have is if they are speaking to anything before setting foot through the portal.
There's you are not on trial for anything that happens before going through the portal.
So we're on
They're,
trial.
they are unaware of your shenanigans away from the tomb.
Oh, that's what I meant. Was in the tomb, like
Yeah,
even
you
before
are
the clerics
only
got
being
there.
tried for things
Okay.
in the tomb.
Yeah.
So the question is whether or not we get to bring our own character witnesses.
You will definitely have your chance to present your side of the events. All right. So the judge takes his seat on his bench, and he brings out a top, and he sets it out on the desk, and since you're the defendant, he asks if you would like to spin the top. The top decides which side presents first.
I would be honored to.
Okay, so make a d20 roll. It's a luck roll, so beat 10. You can choose to go first, or you can wait.
Um,
We should
You
wait.
won the coin toss.
I think we should wait.
no, I think if we go first, we have a chance to set the narrative as opposed to respond to as opposed to being on the defensive about what they say against them.
Yep, I don't disagree, but I also think that if we get to see them go first, we know what they think they know.
I know. I know the wheel was named, but all I can think of is Wheel of Morality.
Wheel of Morality, turn, turn, turn.
That's the only thing I can think of right now.
I want to call it the dreidel of justice. But
Dreidel of Justice.
Yes, please.
I do we have a second to
Yep.
figure this out? Okay.
Yep.
Personally, I think there isn't much to decipher on what they know.
Right.
We know what they know.
Unless they try to use something false because we didn't do anything wrong. Do we hold on? Do we get a chance to cross after, or is it a back and forth and back and forth, or is it just one statement, one statement? I and Jeffrey have no idea how dwarven court systems work.
Yep. No, the prosecution will present its side, and then the defense can present its side, or vice versa. Part of the gamble in dwarven justice is whether or not you want to present, because the person who goes, as Jeff has pointed out, the person who goes second has a little bit of an advantage.
Thanik believes to his core that dwarven justice is righteous,
Right.
and that they won't. He believes very strongly in the justice system.
Even if it finds him guilty, I assume.
Yeah. Because the bottom line is, we are guilty. We shouldn't be arguing whether or not we were there, because we know we were there. We know they were there.
Right.
We know they know we were there.
It just wasn't our faults that we were there.
We should be arguing correct that it wasn't our fault, and not that we shouldn't be punished, but that the punishment should be a treasonous level.
Yep. Mike, from the last time that these guys were here in Euros, which is when the Noel spilled the horn, and
Nope. The last time you guys were here was when you fought the Nightmare Lord.
Sorry, that's these guys. I wasn't here for that.
Yes.
Jeffrey
So
was not.
This is their third trip here in the campaign.
Yep. In their times here, would it be possible to know if these guys had been, because they inhaled whatever came out of that horn, if they had been, if these individuals, being the granite backs, were marked in some way? Is that any type of an angle that Jeffrey could talk about, given the fact that these guys specifically have, like, already been here twice, that maybe there was some kind of bigger magic from the Nightmare Lord or something else that maybe interfered, that made it so that these guys couldn't leave without going through some trial of kings? Because Jeffrey believes these guys are meant to be legendary. Like, Jeffrey believes that these guys are meant, and that maybe one of these guys is going to be a king. With the way that the Nightmare Lord thing went, and whatever happened with, I don't remember, the Knolls did something with a horn that they blew it at the city, and we couldn't stop them, and everybody inhaled a bunch of gunk.
That's when everybody fell asleep.
Yep, so I feel like that's the only other thing that Jeffrey would try and interject into this, because he's trying to figure out why his magic didn't work, and he doesn't understand magic well enough to be, like, analyzing it, so he would be more posing it as questions to be disproven. If we're going first, sorry, this is if we're going first. He would be requesting that if the prosecution is going to find them guilty, that they have to do so by proving that the magics were tampered with purposefully on our end. If not, he would want to know who intentionally sent us somewhere we shouldn't have been.
That's a hard sell, man.
I don't disagree, but
okay.
Again,
I mean,
Jeffrey doesn't know enough about magic to know if that's true or not.
I would think you would know enough to know that that's a hard sell.
Okay.
I mean, and it was pretty obvious that the Maruts were disrupting your magic with the field that they were pushing out.
Oh, okay.
You casted a teleportation circle while they were putting forth a disruption field.
Honestly, didn't pick up on that as Tony at all, but that makes way more sense now. I've still been, for the last a week, trying to figure out why my spell didn't work. It was the Maruts. That makes sense. Never mind. Okay.
Yeah, they ripped open the mansion and started eating their way through your force cube or whatever.
Yep.
Which one you drop down? Spirit
Force
cage.
cage.
No,
Force cage.
force cage. That's
Force
the one.
cage,
Yep.
Okay. So then, Thanak, if you want to go first, we can throw ourselves on it, or because you won the toss, we can go second, which is a slight advantage.
Yeah, I mean, my
And we have the Night Noble.
we do. My thought process on this, and I will just say it, and we can all decide what we want to do. But my thought process on this is similar to where you were going on that, but not. But framing the argument not about whether or not we were trespassing, because we were. It's framing the argument um, on what what was beyond our control. Now that also runs the risk of the punishment being something along the lines of stripping you of that level of skill. Um, but it could also be something where um,
Or access to that specific spell.
yeah, I mean, if we are able to call in some expert witnesses on
Magic.
on magic and specifically Mechanus, um, on how those kinds of things can disrupt spell usage.
Mm-hmm. Are we bringing up the Maruts? Is that in your intention?
It is probably something that we should do.
Okay.
If for no other reason, if we lose and die, those things are still running amok in the town here.
Oh, now they're a threat. I love it. We are going to threaten them with Maruts.
I mean,
No, I'm in. I'm 100% in.
it's not a threat. They're there.
Okay, so first or second, I guess we could probably put it to a vote here. Jeffrey would like to go second, only knowing that we have council and now understanding Dwarven law systems. Jeffrey would prefer to go second, but I'll also defer to you guys if you vote against that. So
What do you?
I vote for second.
Okay. What do you think, Andy? Ryan? I mean, who are you?
I'm fine with that.
Of going second.
I'm fine with that. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
So the judge bangs his gavel after Thanak lets him know he'll decide second. And so he bangs his gavel and says that the prosecution will present their arguments first, and then he takes a moment and he looks towards the Night Noble, who's sitting there with this giant book in this goofy, and it's got on these trappings that just he looks ridiculous. But the judge says that he appreciates a man who understands to the ancestry that's at play here. And so the Night Noble just kind of leans back and looks at Thanak, cocks an eyebrow.
Oh my gosh.
This is how things were in the old days.
So
I don't think it's the get up that Thanak had a problem with. It was those other things. But
It's the Night Noble.
Yeah.
So the prosecution, a lawyer steps forward. He introduces himself as Benjel Iron Boot, and he calls his first and his only witness in presentation to the stand, and he calls Sardic Redrock. And you see the grave cleric that got all ticked
crap.
off at you before take the stand. Um, everybody
Excellent.
make intelligence memory checks at advantage, please.
Does that
Memory
include
check.
me?
What is?
Yep, it's an intelligence based.
Oh,
You're
okay.
trying to recall where you've heard this name before.
I mean, I think we know.
Well,
But you said at advantage though.
Did you say advantage?
everything you're gonna roll here because you brought the Night Noble in will
Oh my
always have
god.
advantage. If I ask
And
you
I'm
to
here.
roll during this court proceeding,
I
you
rolled
will have it.
two 19s.
Oathig
Yeah.
doesn't know. He's
Jeffrey,
he's
you're
like
close to remembering where it's at. Oath and go, oh, this is Hazani's brother.
Oh.
This is they're twins. or
Okay.
Sardik and Hazani are twins,
Okay.
and he is the last of the Red Rock nobility. Most of the clan abandoned the name after the War of the Firstborn. He took over
Uh,
the estate.
he can come too.
He took over the estate where you guys first encountered the Yuan Ti master. What was his name?
Achilleos.
Achilleos. Um, yeah, he now owns that, but that's the last of their holdings. Is that tiny little chateau basically out in the plains? That was the last you'd heard of him, but now he's
This
here.
is the classic story of this is the guy who views us as having taken everything away
Yeah.
from him.
This is Inigo Montoya.
No,
Prepare to die.
no, it's not.
So
You killed his father.
he gets up on the stand. He sits down and he asks the judge for permission to cast a spell. And the judge gives him permission, and you watch as an illusionary scene is set of the inside the of the tomb, and you guys are there, and it plays itself out much like you you saw, like when you were there. It's a pretty accurate depiction of it. It's a little fuzzy. Um, the judge asks him how he came by such knowledge, and he said it's been 32 decades since somebody attempted to get into the tombs of the dwarven kings. But the recording wards, the illusionary recording wards, are still mostly functional. And so he plays the scene out. Um, it shows you nosing around just a little bit, looking at the looking at the sarcophagi, um, everything else, and
Mhm.
then it shows Mav react in terror as the Blackheart King race towards him, and then the Black-hearted King becomes visible, and everybody kind of gasps, and then um, that scene plays itself out up until the point where you leave the tomb. So the whole bit is rewatched,
Is
and
there is there audio on this?
there is not. It is
Okay.
only visual. And so the whole thing plays itself out, and after it's done, Sardik looks up at the judge and says, "It's clear they were there. They attacked one of the spirits of the kings. The only penalty is death." And he gets down,
Yep.
and he goes and sits over at a bench behind the prosecution's table and just stares at you.
Yep. Um, Gosh, I think the only thing that we could do is produce our own magical with audio, and emphasize the fact that he shot first. Um, yeah, I don't know. I think, yeah, focusing on it was a magical hiccup that got
We
us there.
wouldn't we wouldn't even necessarily need to produce our own magic on that. We would just
Right.
ask them to replay that.
Right, and I could add audio, which wouldn't be hard at all through any of the magics that I have.
The problem, the only problem that I would have with producing audio is that it's biased information,
It in what way?
and that you are creating the spell, so you could create it to make whatever audio you wanted.
Right, but
I'm
yep,
saying this in like devil's advocate type way.
yep. I think I'm gonna go ahead and guess that within this space, a simple zone of truth before I cast that would nullify my ability to lie with it, but I
I
might
don't
be
know.
wrong.
Yeah, I don't know how those would interact.
I feel like if he asked me a question and I were to answer with the illusion, it would produce the truth if I chose to answer.
If Yeah, I mean, I think if there's a way that
I think if the judge or whoever asks me to can you produce the accurate audio from within the tomb,
Yeah.
I couldn't answer a lie.
With my Mike, with my understanding of magic, would I buy that?
Yeah,
Okay.
I
All
would
right.
think
Then yeah, that's
telling
fine.
the truth would qualify that. Like you're
Okay.
not capable of telling a lie, so you would be able to magically tell a lie if you were using it as a
Mhm.
presentation.
Okay. All right. Then yeah, then
Be a
that's fine
point.
then.
Yep. So I would emphasize that we were there due to a magical accident. That and honestly, I think Jeffrey would take. I don't know that he'd take credit or not credit, blame for it, especially if he understands that it was the Marut that did it. But if we're intentional, if we're intending to bring up the Maruts, I would explain that I have never experienced the spell going poorly. I specifically avoided dimensional magics that were not safe because of the fact that they can misfire. I took teleportation circle and I only have 3. I have our house, I have his girlfriend's house, and I have the teleportation circle for the order. And I have no intentions of getting
It-
any other teleportation circles.
I think it's so funny that you have Thanok's girlfriend's house as teleportation.
Yeah.
circle.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah,
funny.
I need to go there and visit when she's mad at him.
Um,
But I would emphasize those pieces and then bring up the Maruts, and then yeah, I would, if allowed, present a programmed illusion of all of that.
Okay.
Would I be able to assist
Well,
in the
he's already
explanation?
got advantage, so
Okay. I like specifically though the explanation that the Maruts were like we were trying to go from point A to point C, and the Maruts were pulling at us, and so we only made it to point B.
Mm-hmm.
sure.
Okay.
If you're bringing that's my big question in all of this is if you're bringing so
Yeah,
since you are
yeah. Ryan, you like made a noise. I don't know if you were wanting to say
yeah,
something.
yeah. I was gonna say, do we know that the charge for being in the tomb is just, in of itself the crime, or is there like motive that, like trying to break in constitutes some sort of desire, for something that they're protecting in there or whatever or whatnot, or yeah, like basically like are we able to, take up defense on the aspect of motive? Because like we have no motive to basically be there.
I think that's a good play. It's been 320 years since somebody tried to do this to get into
I
this
mean,
place.
like, and
So,
and my point is like, did we even before today even know that that existed, and or like
Nope.
where it would be? Like,
yes.
could anyone?
Yeah, we knew where. Yeah.
Yep. You knew where the crypt was. You'd seen it. You'd all visited it as children.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
The
before
outside of it, anyway.
here.
But the point of motive still stands. Of
Right.
Yeah,
Yep.
point of motive still
like
stands.
we have
Yep.
nothing to gain from getting there.
Right.
So you're going to bring up the Maruts. You're going to emphasize that there was no motive for you to do that. There's nothing there that.
And also the fact that our whereabouts previously, from the general's perspective, was that we were on mission. So I hope that we're
Yeah. We
or
are
at
on
least let him
we
know
are
that
on
he has a
kingdom
place to come
business.
badly. But
Okay.
yeah,
And you
basically.
are going to mention that you were on kingdom business for the general as well.
Yeah.
So, all right. Jeff, go ahead and make a persuasion check at advantage as the Knight Noble guides you through the legal mumbo jumbo and how to present your case with the dwarves.
Oh, this is beautiful.
So, all right. So
Ju-
that is obviously very good. Um, so you present your case.
can I add something?
Sure.
I would like to add something about what was the dude's name? The Red Rock.
Sardic.
I would like to, in whatever we're doing, thank him for his
Service.
for his not just service. I want to thank him for his heroism in protecting the Graniteback name in my story, and instead of emphasizing the way that he came into the room with the statement, and just comment on how excited we were to see allies join us.
Yeah, Sardik and the other brave clerics.
Yep.
So okay, this is so you're not attempting a burn then.
No,
You're
no,
not
no,
doing
no,
something- Okay,
no.
just want to make sure because it
Because
could
of
go either
Hazani,
way.
no,
It
because of
could, it could.
Hazani, because of Hazani, he believes that the Red Rocks family were not part of the garbage
Yeah.
that happened. He believes that the Red Rock family got a bad name and didn't deserve one. So Jeffrey would definitely not be doing a backhanded burn on that.
Okay, just want to make sure because that would cause
Filbert would have.
Yeah.
Jeffrey's not gonna. And Mav might have. Now that I'm thinking this through, I don't know that Mav would have allowed me to say what I just said. But
might not have. Um,
sorry, Mav.
He's still in recovery mode. Sorry, buddy.
Yeah.
So you guys, you present your
Mav is
case.
just in a catatonic state for some reason.
The judge is listening. He asks if anybody can send message General Gravel Boot to verify that you were on mission for them, and then he leans forward and he asks, "What the heck is a maroon?"
Jeffrey would actually explain, as that is one of the things that he has studied is Mechanus and the law of Mechanus, since his goal is to be a truly lawful creature. He would explain the plane of law and its agents of justice.
So you explain that, and Sardik at that point in time he kind of shouts out, "See!" and he yells. He's like, "Even the plane of law wants them dead."
No, they just didn't want us where we were, and to our credit, we are no longer where we were.
So the judge kind of looks over at him, shoots him a look, like it's not a very pleasant look,
Oh,
and then he looks back at the Night Noble in his get up and smiles. And
yeah.
um, and he says he's going to retire to his chambers. Court is still in session, so those in the room should conduct themselves respectfully. He will be back with his decision shortly.
This might be unorthodox, and I don't know if I'll be allowed to, but can I inspire the judge as he goes to retire to his chambers?
You certainly can.
I just want to thank him for his dutiful presence and his what did he say to the Night Noble? His focus on
Heritage.
heritage, and I would bestow upon him a bardic inspiration.
All right. So that's actually pretty useful because I am going to make a roll for the judge here. I will add a D10 to that.
He can inspire somebody if he succeeds.
Uh,
so great. That was just so great.
so he's gone for a bit. What do you guys want to do? Is there
Are
anybody
we?
you want to talk to? The captain of the guard that arrested you is here.
Definitely
Sardik is
not
here.
talk to anyone.
Is it bad form during the trial to talk to the Red Rock? I can't think of his name.
Yes.
Sardik.
Yeah, definitely
No,
here.
not
Don't
necessarily.
talk to him.
Oh man.
There's people milling about and discussing things everywhere. You're under guard, but if you wanted to go talk to somebody, you could.
Yeah, I mean, I would even ask if maybe a guard would like to escort me over to Sardik.
Sure, he'd be more than happy to.
And I
Because
would.
at this point, the trial it's not over because you're still about to get your verdict, but there's nothing anybody can do or say now that will affect the judge anymore.
Okay. Okay. Good.
Unless he attacks
so
you.
I would. Well, that's on him. I would just like to thank him for honoring the court appropriately and standing up for what he believes in, and not what's the word I want to use? Sullying the evidence.
Not letting this get personal.
And I would say I know there is bad blood between our family, and um, between our family names, as far as I am concerned, that is over with. And uh, regardless of how the trial ends, um, he's I'm sure his sister misses him, and if he wants to come and visit her, he can absolutely do that.
Because we know his sister misses him. She's mentioned it a few times.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
She has. She's actually in the city.
Is she really?
Yeah, she's one of the chosen.
Oh, she is. Oh, she's gonna die. Oh crap. Well, I don't think I would. I don't know if I'd know that or not, but either way,
We don't
I would.
know that
You would
group is
know that.
here.
Yeah, I would still say um that like I would like there to be peace between our clans.
So he responds. He just stares at you, and there's just hate and anger there. And he said, and he says something to the effect of, "There would your words might fall on softer ears if there was a clan. I am the last that carries the name, and I will take you with me to the grave. There is no family. There is no clan. There is me." And then he
And then he what? You cut out.
turns away from you.
Okay, that's fine. I will, even if he doesn't see it, I will still bow to him and go back
Oh,
to sit down.
nice.
Okay. So, anybody else want to do anything? Make
No.
perception checks.
All of us.
Yep.
I was gonna say, I'm probably just playing Rochambeau with the Knight Noble.
Oh,
You said
Not
perception.
bad, I don't think. Shampoo.
Oh, I can't do that. I can't
I
do that.
won one.
Try again. Potato.
I
15.
tied one.
2 15s and a 4. So, Thanak, you're too busy trying to muddle through what Sardik said to you.
Yeah.
Jeffrey, you and Othig notice a dwarf slip in through the door in the back. He is heavily cloaked.
He's a dwarf, and for some reason my head was like, Wargami's here, and she's gonna start assassinating people.
Bruh. No, there's
You're
only
talking
one left.
crap.
She might. There's only one
Both
left.
downstairs at the moment.
There's only one left. She might do it. I am going to focus my attention on that individual. Am I still handcuffed with magical nonsense thing?
No, actually, you're not. They were removed when you asked if you could cast the spells.
Yep.
So,
yeah, I'm gonna focus my attention on that individual.
okay.
I would just walk over there.
No, he wants to not be seen. I guess I would actually ask. Would I see that Othig also saw, or is that
Mhm.
not how that would?
I mean, you both kind of just turn around and look at him, and you're
Yep.
sitting right next to each other. So,
I'd be like, if you want to go talk to him, go see what that's about. Sure, I'm gonna keep an eye from here. However, I don't need to start any trouble or cause any trouble here.
We're in a courtroom, so I imagine the possibility of not being spotted at all is absolutely zero. So can I reasonably assume that this person is noticed by anyone else in their vicinity?
other people noticed him come in for sure.
Then I'm going
100%.
to go
Quite a few people did actually. The
get
reason
in
I
the
made you
dander in
guys
that
roll.
direction so I can see who it
Yeah.
is.
The reason I made you guys roll is because your focus was not in his direction.
Copy that.
So, Othig, you get up and you go to go talk to him, and as you get up and go talking to him, a hand reaches out from nearby and puts it on your shoulder, and there's an older dwarf there who whispers in your ear to leave that one alone.
Do I recognize the man?
Nope, just some dwarf that's in the courtroom.
I'll ask him. If he knows who it is.
He does. It's High Magister Marduk.
Who's that?
Um, you mm, history checks. Well,
I mean,
Ulfig gets to because he's the only one who's heard it right now. Make a history
would I
check.
assume he's like a Supreme Court justice in this capacity, like in some capacity? Is that what I'm supposed to gather?
Possibly. You would know that the title is definitely governmental.
Because we would know the hierarchy of like the
Yep,
law
you would.
system, right?
Yep, yep. You're just gonna make a roll to see if you've ever actually paid attention when this guy is being talked about.
That's
You
fair
would know
enough.
that his position, he is on the Council of Seven.
That's fair
Advantage or
enough.
just a regular roll?
This is a regular roll because you're currently not in a legal proceeding.
Okay.
Oh,
Oh,
that's really good.
Bruh.
So, um, this guy in particular, he is typically the voice of harshness on the Council of Seven. He is known to show up at proceedings and overturn local judges' verdicts,
Oh,
and it's not always when it happens.
okay.
Put a force cage around that
That's
guy.
a good roll. After what happened in the crypt, it is rumored that Marduk is descended from King Blackheart.
I wonder if there's something more going on here then.
Yep,
Be
yep,
interesting.
yep. Something way more.
Maybe the reason why that one's still restless.
Don't. Now we're picking fights. Oh
I'm
gosh.
not picking fights. I'm just
No.
surmising.
Are you sharing any of that with us, Othig?
I would definitely share that with you guys.
Thanak, do we want to do anything about that?
No, but I don't think we should
No.
do anything about it right now. We should not do anything about it in this courtroom.
All right. I'm with you guys.
Again, if you are asking Fanic about that,
He would accept
even
whatever that man
if,
says.
even by Mike,
Bye, Mike.
yeah, even if
That man
we've
finds
had
us.
harsh judgments against our enemies.
Right.
Just because the judgment is harsh doesn't mean it's wrong.
Right.
Yeah.
And so that's where Fanic is
Yep,
that
yep.
I was actually gonna say when we were, having the charges read against us, I thought for sure that Jeff would say something to the effect of, "Well, he's right. That trespass does deserve death." Thought we would include that as our follow-up also.
Jeffrey doesn't believe that trespassing deserves death. He believes that anything that is
That trespassing did.
anything that can be walked on should be walked on.
anything
Okay.
that is trespassable isn't trespasses.
Yeah, exactly. If I can get into it,
It's not
Yeah.
trespassing.
I'm not trespassing.
You're asking for me to come in.
So,
Well, locks only keep honest people out.
you're not doing
Yeah.
You're not doing anything else then in your 5 minutes that you have remaining.
I don't know that any of us would want to interact. I think Mav would be the only one that would want to interact with that guy, and he's broken right now. So,
It's not broken.
sorry.
It's not. There's no Andy to guide
He's
him.
recharging.
Yeah.
He's actually probably under pretty extreme exhaustion after everything he sucked up. So he may just be napping.
He's just over in the corner snoring.
Yeah, he'd probably still have the manacles on him.
Yeah, I don't think any of the three of us would want to interact with that guy. I know that I shouldn't because I'm not a dwarf and he would not respect me. Thanak respects him too much to approach him, and I don't think Othig would have anything to say to him. So,
Okay, so you guys just patiently wait.
mm-hmm.
And the judge comes up and he takes the bench back and he starts with a little speech about how this is a case that he never thought he would have to weigh, that it's a rarity to weigh a case like this in any way, shape, or form, as there's other places where the common man is not allowed to go. But this one in particular, it disheartens him to know that currently there are mechanical beings running amok in the bowels of the city, destroying things. But he's having a hard time sentencing you to death because it truly wasn't your intention to be there. And then he says, however, the law is the law. And he says the sentence shall be carried out within the hour. And he goes to bang his gavel, and all of a sudden it shoots out of his hand, and everybody follows it as it flies to the back of the room. And High Magister Marduk is holding it. And he just says, pardoned. And he drops the gavel and walks out the door.
That's awesome. I was really hoping that you would turn it around like that. That's so
Yeah.
great. That's it. That's it.
That's it.
Like
Yes.
everybody in the courtroom's just kind of staring and looking around, and there's some muttering going on, but for the most part, it is really quiet. And then Sardic Red Rock gets up in a huff. He stands up so quickly his chair is knocked over, and he starts to stomp out of the room.
Mike, remind me at a later date. I don't want to have this conversation right now, but I would like to do something about Sardic,
Okay.
but at a later date.
Okay.
In the meantime,
We have business to take care of.
are we able to approach the bench, the judge?
He's
Or is
kind
that
of like
leaving?
he. No, you feel you could approach the bench. The proceeding is over. People are starting to leave. It's just a very awkward moment.
Um, I I will grab the Knight Noble's hand, his
Mm-hmm.
wrist, and bring him with me. Like he's bringing me, but not really.
Okay. Um,
Approach the
he's
bench.
like, oh, I thought we just won.
Yeah.
We're going to get in trouble again. Okay, great.
um,
Yeah,
um,
especially with that one.
and I will just again bow to the judge and say thank you for the honest judgment, regardless of whether or not it went through. Um, please contact the Granite Back Keep for us to make reparations, appropriate reparations,
He nods,
and then that's
and
it. And then we'll leave.
he says he's glad that it went the way it did. He was going to do his duty, as it sounds like you were as well.
Yeah.
Um, and he's like, but we have leaders for a reason, and somebody has decided that you have other purposes. And
I'm
that's
still
all
a
he
little bit
says.
high, and all I can think about are porpoises.
Porpoises?
Porpoises.
You have other porpoises.
we have we have some porpoises, and
Multiple.
then we
We
have
got
others.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, we are friends with the lobster god, so we might.
So,
That's insane.
Yeah.
Jeffrey's gonna throw one up to the martyr. He's just gonna be like, make the sign of the cross. He's just gonna be like, all right, well, that was something else.
so
We should get back to the general then.
the Knight Noble thanks you for calling on him. He's like, I expected to be summoned in a much more difficult moment, but
Oh, I
a
mean,
deal's a deal.
you're still on retainer for the whole thing, but you said you might not
Oh,
want to partner with it.
no.
That's still up to you.
I'm not
More
actually.
difficult. He was the one that almost didn't want to take this case on.
I know.
We agreed. I gave you the card. We agreed for me to show up, and I did the job for you. And now I'm done.
Yeah,
See you around.
works for me.
So, and he pops off, poofs in the same fashion that he poofed before. Card in your hand is now blank.
Yep. I'm gonna doodle on it. I'm gonna make my own business card from it.
Sure.
while I'm waiting for Thanak to talk to the judge.
Sure. All right. So you guys wrap up talking to the judge, and you get ready to go. You leave the courtroom to go talk to the general to find General Gravel Boots.
I think that's the
So
plan, yeah.
you walk out the door, and there is all sorts of shouting outside, and you see Sardik in the face of the High Magister, just losing his marbles on him. And you watch as the Magister, and you can't see his face at all. He's completely cloaked and hooded, and he's got this huge hood over. He just lifts his hands up, and you hear, "Shh," and Sardik turns into a little monkey.
Oh,
And then
Did we
you
hear
see
what Sardik
Marduk
was saying?
motion to a guard nearby and point at the monkey, and he says, and you hear, like, it's really loud, but it sounds like a whisper. He says, "Remove this from my presence." And the guard comes over and picks up angry monkey Sardik and hurries off with it.
Holy cow.
okay.
Huh. So seeing that, so I've doodled on my business card, and I wanted to just say Jeffrey Graniteback, voice of the martyr, herald extraordinaire. And I'm just gonna on the back of it write "Y" in Dwarvish, and I'm gonna ask someone nearby to make sure that that cloaked guy gets this.
Okay.
Maybe
So
not right
you-
now. Maybe give it some time. He seems a little aggressive at the moment, but
Well, you do, after the monkey goes away, you do see him turn and he is staring at the four of you.
oh, yes, wifey.
Well, here's your opportunity, I guess.
Yeah.
What?
I guess
4938.
I will
Four.
bow. To
Okay.
him. Does he seem? Is it one of those like
Yeah, if you press anything before you do that, you gotta wait for it to stop blinking.
thanks, goodbye moments, or is it one of those like come talk to
Did you
me
hit enter?
type moments?
It's really
Okay.
hard to tell. You can't get a read on it now that you're looking at him and he's
Okay.
looking at you. It's not just shadow under this hood. It appears to that is a magical
Okay.
darkness
I'm sorry.
that covers him.
Okay.
He is also wearing gloves, and so the only thing physical that
Okay.
you can see of him is his beard
Yep.
sticking out.
I assume we're not shackled anymore.
No, you are not. You've been set free.
How loud is it?
It's not too terribly loud. There's talking about it echoes, but
Barry's telepathic bond on all of us plus that guy.
Yeah, I don't know if that's a good idea because I was gonna psychically talk to him if it's too loud, but I don't want to approach un like expectedly unwarranted. You know what I
Oh.
mean?
Mhm.
Okay.
Well, he's definitely looking at you, so
So I will say may we approach.
he nods, and he turns and he walks over to the side of the very large causeway that you're in. It's kind of out of the way.
Oh, if we're doing this,
That's
I'm
fine.
not going to give him my card. Okay.
Yeah, yeah.
I didn't realize we were approaching him.
He said that right as you got in his phone.
Yeah, sorry.
That's fine. So yeah, let's go approach him.
Okay.
And I don't even know if I would thank him. I would just
Maybe ask him why.
Yeah,
comment on. Yeah, I mean,
I think it's the only question is why. Just ask
Yeah.
why.
yeah. So we'll say why. Like what's the deal?
So he looks at you very like, and you can feel the intensity through the magical darkness of his hood. There is something very off about his presence. And then you hear him whisper to you, and he asks you a question. Have you ever heard of the town of Grey Oak?
Do we get a history
Thanath
check on that?
and Jeff make history checks. Othig, Mav could too. So Othig, go ahead and make one, and I'll add Mav's modifier to it, just so Ryan gets to roll too. Ooh, that's gonna be real good. Oh,
Boom, baby.
Wow.
With that crappy modifier I've got. 31.
Yeah.
Okay, so all of you have this. This had to have been a story that you all decided to sit around and talk about one day, and the bizarreness of it.
Is this where Jeff is from
you
now?
know that 2 years ago, during the Convergence Crisis, an entire town of people were turned into sentient undead, known as the Unliving.
That's why I recognize that.
Yep. You know that the Baroness in Stolregard is one of the Unliving. You guys are in the know on that. That one of her babies was born that way, and the other one was born normal. You know that these people are hunted and persecuted terribly wherever they go. There's a good contingent of them in the town of Grey Oak, but if they leave there, it's no good.
So I think we would just respond, yes, we know of it.
Mm-hmm. He would say, then it doesn't take much intuition to understand my predicament.
No.
I want you to find a way to fix it. You are the most capable dwarves born in centuries.
Jeffrey will just smile.
And you run in circles of beings that far outweigh your own worth. I have done this for you. Do this for me.
Of course.
One question. You were willing to do this for that. Is there any price you wouldn't pay to have this fixed?
It's an awfully personal question.
That's all I needed. I will keep that in mind.
I think he would expand on that. He would say
I feel like we're in the
he
hells
would
again.
not he would not reach past the laws of the people.
Okay, okay.
Yeah, okay.
He would not dishonor his heritage.
Yep.
I will. Is there anything within this setting to let me know if this guy follows the martyr or not?
Nothing in this setting at all. And if the rumors about him that Othig shared with you are true, he's not a follower.
How does he work that out that he wouldn't betray the laws of his people when he overturns decisions of other judges sometimes?
It's his right as a High Magister to do so.
Yep, that's not against the law for him to do that. That's actually one of the few things they get.
It's like a presidential pardon, basically.
I was just gonna say that.
Can I make an insight check on this?
Yeah, absolutely.
16. Jeffrey's real
It's
confused.
very hard to get a
Yeah.
read on him through the
Darkness.
barriers that he now lives inside of.
Just for you,
Sorry. I had this thought before, and I gotta say this before we part ways with him, because otherwise I feel like I'm not gonna get the chance to ask it. But I would rather Jeff ask this in some way, because if both had asked it, would be a distress. But is he asking this? I want to find out if he's asking this because I mean, there's probably I'm assuming there's someone that he knows who is in that condition.
him.
He's in that condition.
That's why he has the darkness over his face.
Okay, I kind of figured that was at least that part of it.
Yep.
But
He is
we knew
trapped
that,
in
or
this
we're just
condition.
assuming that.
He said he was there.
Yeah, he more or less
Oh,
saw it.
he said I was there. I missed that part entirely.
Yep.
Okay.
So Jeffrey would imply the question without asking it if he's just asking us to fix him or the blight in its entirety.
He said him.
That's a good follow-up question.
He'll say he's the priority. If you could only choose one, it's him.
Does
If
anyone
you
know
can
that
fix
he
everyone else, then that's fine. There are people. Not a lot though. It's not public knowledge, but there are people that know.
Okay.
Do we have a person to contact, or for you? Do we have a contact number? What's your phone number?
He just tells you
What's
to
your office number?
return to the city when you have an answer.
I mean, if he's a high magister, Euros, I'm sure he
Yep.
would be pretty easy to
Yeah.
track down.
If you had to send for him to show up some, there's ways you could do that.
Okay.
I would ask him.
Public enough figure, basically.
I would ask him.
I hate the idea of like, hi, I'm the emperor. Hi, I'm the great old dragon that has been around for millennia. Yeah, can I just send you a sending?
I'm actually. That was what I was about to ask. If his condition makes it so that he is not able to resave sending, and if he is able, if that would be allowable.
He is
Consent is important.
he he teaches you a variation of the last wordings of the spell in order to bypass his no scry, not his non-detection.
The same thing that Thanak has.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
His encrypted line.
Yeah. He gives you his personal cell phone number,
Yeah.
not his office number.
Okay.
And then I think the final question or statement Jeffrey wants to make in all of this, based on the rumors about the dead king, I just want to make a. No, you know what? I'm going to hold on to that for later. Never mind.
Okay. Are you thinking it?
Jeffrey is thinking about the dead king
What
currently.
were you gonna ask? Because he asks you.
Jeffrey doesn't like that. I'm going to ask him if he has the same curse that his ancestor has.
He would say contrary to popular belief, they are not actually related.
Okay. I was
Just a rumor.
concerned that it would interfere with fixing this, but if that is not the truth, then okay.
Yep.
Because magics interact.
He would, as you were thinking about asking him that, he would just look at you and say that to him. You'd never actually have to ask it.
I don't know if this will matter, but the shackles, did they dispel the magic or did they just suppress it?
They just suppress it.
Okay, so like my mind blank is back up then.
Yep.
Okay.
So is our telepathic bond then.
Yeah.
Yeah, you said that right away.
Yeah. You just didn't have to recast it. It was already back up. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Does he have any leads?
None. He says he's the condition and the affliction is so new that that's not true. He doesn't have anything that isn't common knowledge of it. So, and you guys all rolled pretty well. You know that the actual affliction was caused by some spores from the Shadow Fae that transformed people into them. The entire town during the Convergence Crisis was affected by a fungus that released spores that mind controlled the people until the heart of the mold was destroyed by some adventurers.
We have a
That's,
we have a link there.
yeah, I mean, is that mold related to the many-eyed mold?
No, no,
Okay.
you don't think that the two would be connected.
Okay.
There'd be no reason to make that jump.
All right, that's our next thing after this current next thing.
We should also investigate this. It's been a long
day.
It's been a long day.
Okay, so as you begin to think about departing and taking a rest, he tells you that he has secured a room for you. It is on standby in the governmental district, the embassies. You can consider it a base of operations when you come here.
Wow. That's awesome.
And he turns to leave.
Okay. All right. Thank him and move on.
Yep.
Yeah.
So you go a little bit deeper into the center of the city, or are you going to find General Gravel Boots first?
We should.
We should find
Are
him
they?
first.
Yeah. I mean, are they two opposite directions? I have to go to the bathroom, so.
Yeah, they are.
We should find him first and just explain the outcome, and then explain to him that if there's
We will have to do it in the morning. Heck yeah, morning.
because I'm assuming he still needs help because he had a lot of stuff going on.
Yep.
But yeah, we should check.
So while Adam's missing, what the heck did Gravel Boots send you guys to do?
Kill a
Hunt down
vampire.
vampires.
How did you end up by this eyeball thing?
Finding vampires.
They took you to the eyeball?
They were holed up here.
In that temple?
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
You're good, thank you. Huh.
They had made their lair in here.
Yep.
And no one else has been in that temple before?
Apparently not.
How did nobody else trigger the Maruts?
Because nobody else, the people who'd gone in there before, didn't mess
Nope.
with any of the stuff.
Yeah, no one else had a magic hammer.
Oh. I see. So, you guys really are special.
Well, I mean, at first it seemed fine, but then all Adam did was lift up his hammer and stuff started happening, and that's just how it worked out. And I didn't
That
give him
stuff
a good
just
idea.
kept happening.
Yeah.
What is special about Adam's hammer? I don't know if I know this as a player.
It just conducts electricity. And so he started electrifying to a greater degree the place. And
He charged the batteries a little bit.
Yeah, and
Pretty much.
I told him to basically do something that turned something on. I didn't know it was going to do that, so
Yeah.
that's how it worked out.
Yep.
Man.
Fired
Well,
up.
hopefully the next
Some
time we
power.
find any of that stuff, we don't mess with it.
Oh, I know what I was going to ask. Mike, I was going to ask, do we at least get to know what treasure we missed out on?
No, because I will recycle it for later.
Okay.
That was the most Rick Moranis statement I've ever heard. No, I will recycle it for later.
I don't know if that's true, but
Just the way you said it is perfect.
okay. Please have some. All right. So okay. So you guys and find General Gravel Boots, and as you open up the door, you're taken into the inn that he has turned into his forward office for dealing with the crisis of the dragon cult below. and there are a great number of dwarven pieces off of his battle map.
Oh,
And he's there, and the words you hear him shouting as you open up the door is, "What do you mean you don't know where the granite backs are?" And you guys come in, and you see Heinrich and regaling him with the tale of the slaying of the vampire and the fighting of the many-faced lord and all of these other things. And he's like, "Oh, well, I guess I do know where they are. They're right over there."
I found them.
And what's his name? Darius. Darius is extremely happy to see you alive and well. And as you walk in, there is a messenger who shows up, and he's like, "Sir, some dwarves that were," and he looks at you, and he's like, "Oh, I knew I stopped for lunch," and he turns around and he heads out the other way.
Oh,
A little too late, buddy.
Um, and so there is this fairly happy reunion. Beth and Heinrich are glad to see that you're alive and well. Um, yeah,
Seriously, they almost didn't make it.
it was a tough go. It's more than they normally bargain for.
yeah.
They didn't expect to face the avatar of a Prince of the
Well,
Hells.
is he
They
gonna write a
didn't.
new book at least out of all this?
He's definitely taking some notes, but he doesn't feel qualified yet on Demon Prince slaying. So, but
I I
he
would I would
That's
ask
awesome.
him. I would let him know
Everyone's
that
got to start somewhere.
I would be honored to write the forward.
he says he might take you up on that someday,
All right.
and he bows,
Oh, you know
and
what?
him and Beth.
At this point, Mav would probably try to give him a contract for 50% of the royalties or more, probably, since it's Mav. Just saying.
It's very likely that some contract attempts are made, but he is going to remain unaffiliated for, and him and Beth head out. So you are there with the general, and he's like, "So is what they just told me true?" And he kind of gives you the rundown, and it's pretty right on. Heinrich seems a little bit more awesome in the story than he probably was, but it's
Um,
not far off.
I would say we would probably give him the story and then some, unless anyone is about to attempt to stop Otheg.
nah.
I'm giving him the story.
Okay. So you tell him everything that's going on. It makes a lot of sense to him. It's one of the reasons that um, the dwarven pieces have been removed from below. Uh, he's had to send people to deal with tunnel collapses and other huge pieces of the city caving in. In all of the new areas that have been revealed, many of them have become you know, um, combat zones with, and he has got reports from some of his soldiers of Maroots rampaging through the depths of the walls of the cities, just destroying stuff as they go.
In the research that Jeffrey has done, would I be able to know any way to get a hold of somebody to maybe call those guys off?
Probably not.
Okay.
Um, it is definitely the type of thing where they're gonna do their job,
Yeah.
and that's the way it is. I think it is safe to assume, though, that with what the dwarf exposed, it was only a matter of time before somebody else did this anyways.
Right. That sucks.
Yeah, but it couldn't have come at a worse time. I feel
It
so.
definitely is at a very inopportune time. So he says, unfortunately, he has no idea how your team below has fared. So let's find out.
What just happened?
All right, now remind me, which of the two objectives did you guys decide to commit your team of chosen to? Are you going to try and keep the treasure, or are you going to try and keep the bones from the dragon cult?
Oh, I want to say that we stopped the bones because, like, treasure is important, but they can get money anywhere. You know what I mean? It's
Yeah, I
like
track with that. I don't remember specifically either, but I feel like that makes sense. I'm totally with that decision right now.
yeah, like
Anyway,
if they get the bones and not the treasure, it is only a matter of time before they just scrounge up enough money to use what to get what they need. Whereas if they just get the treasure, then it doesn't matter because they still need these very specific bones. That's my thought.
Okay. It's been a bit. There was you guys did watch in the time crystals. The dragon cult isn't necessarily after these specific bones. They are stealing any or taking any bones they can find anywhere. Dragon bones.
Okay.
So it's not necessarily these specific ones, but there was something unique about this place as there were a lot of them.
so
Almost
maybe
in an
Dragon
elephant
Bones and
graveyard sense, but dragon bones. So I'm sorry,
Bones,
Ryan. What were you
Dragon
saying?
Bones. No, that's fine. I'm just trying to think out loud. Like Dragon Bones and a very large hoard of treasure, probably equally rare, but I still track with the previous statement that we would probably want to protect the bones.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, on top of that, knowing the red dragon, the red and gold dragon,
Yeah, because
is
they
that
were
what he
only
was?
after like the two different chromatic
It's
ones,
multi
right?
hued.
Yeah, the multi.
Are you talking about the shepherd? He was
Yeah, the
multi hued.
shepherd. Shepherd, that's his name. My thought process on that is that again, I mean, dragons love gold. That's true. Um, but
Is there any legend of any specific treasure that might be here within rumors or otherwise that would be important? Something of artifact level or otherwise? Because
Nope.
treasure, you know.
No, you don't even get to do a history check on this. Actually, they do. They would. So go ahead and make a history check at a +5.
All of us?
No, Tony, because he asked the question.
yeah,
Oh, that's
Oh my
really good.
gosh, dude.
So, Hazani is as the group is discussing this, she recalls something, not necessarily about the treasure itself, but there's a reason dragons hoard treasure, and it's to buy their way back into the
Yeah,
heavens.
I remember us talking about this before.
Yep.
that was last
And
campaign though.
Because it's a,
I don't think we
it's
know that.
yeah. No, I was just recalling
yep,
it as a player,
Yeah.
but yeah,
yep.
because it's an offering to Tiamat, right?
It's well, it depends on who they want to, where they want to go, and who they want to please.
Oh yeah.
So it's as you guys, as your group is having the discussion of which is more important, that plays a role. That treasure isn't just money. That it is an offering for something.
Yeah. Yeah. That's true. Now that I think about that.
Would that would that role apply to knowing what's special about this dragon, or like if there's a dragon here that is special?
Mm-hmm. No, you don't. Uh, no, this it's too far in the past. The crystals were too fuzzy to draw out specifics about it. You do note really see that the bones here are much larger than even ancient style dragons. They're big,
Yeah.
and there's probably about a dozen different corpses here. They're weird in the fact that the bones are separate from the treasure. Usually dragons die on their treasure. Um, they did not. The treasure hoard is vast. It's full of everything from coins to raw nuggets of valuable minerals to gems. There's plenty of items in there as well. So it's a big spread. But you don't see anything in specific as they perused the crystals that might lead you to think there's something super unique in here.
I'm still on the bones. My phone is still dinging.
Can we make a D20 luck roll to choose the right answer?
No. You must choose as a team.
I'm still fine with the bones. I don't need to. I'm fine.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, same.
Yeah, I know when we talked about it last time, I know that Mike delved a little bit more, saying like there was like I thought we knew somehow that there was like specific consequences to either one, and we ultimately just landed on. And I don't think we knew what those consequences were, but
You
we
don't.
knew that there would be consequences. But
I
I
think
still
the
think we
only
ended up on the bones.
Yeah, I think the only consequence we knew is that if we tried to get both, everything
Yeah,
dies.
we'll probably epically fail. Yeah.
Yep. Yep.
I I
You
think
did
you
know
said
that.
that the chance was slim, and that there's maybe some margin for success, but it was probably largely going to be within our faces.
Of course, there's always chance for crazy success, but the crystals let you know that was very, very, very.
Let's face it, we've had our close. We've had enough close.
Yeah.
You
I,
have.
I prefer to not
Yep.
bet
Yeah.
on.
On this level of event.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
yeah, and you do know that there will be consequences to whichever you choose. And as players, you can know that those consequences will play themselves out tomorrow night with the Team Grow Squad. So whatever you do here, you do to them.
Which
One of these
one?
things is going to hurt them.
Which one gets Allie killed?
Please don't make me kill another one of her characters.
No. This time it's our fault.
Yeah, we'd be killing her.
No, it's honestly whichever one brings consequences to their group. I'd say the consequences are equal. They're just different.
So yeah, I am fine with the bones.
Yep.
Okay.
Same.
All right, so it's bones then. So your team, they spread out into the halls. They've been trying to fight their way to get to the bones, but they've been stopped at every front. There's been pretty severe losses on the dwarven side. When the buildings and the tunnels begin shaking and cracking, and in the hallway that they're in, a fissure opens up, um, possibly allowing them or giving them access to the rooms. It is headed towards the room with the dragon bones in it. Would you have two choices here. You can either push the assault in the front, or you can send your small team, and if you push the assault, you'll attack with all of the dwarves that are with you. You can let the dwarves hold the hallway, and your team can slip into the fissure and hopefully find their way to the roof.
Yeah, let's do that.
I say we slip into the fissure. Yeah.
Yep. I like that
Okay.
idea.
So your dwarves set for a charge, and as they do, and they've already fought this a few times, so they're set and ready for it. You do know that they are going to face a black dragon.
Oh,
That's who's been haunting you down the halls.
that's
So
exciting.
the people with you know this. They know what they're in for. You know what you're in for, but you decide your best chances are to make a break for the bones with a diversion.
Yep.
So, all right. As you're cruising through this fissure, making all haste, you begin to hear clicking sounds from somewhere below you.
Organic or something else?
From what?
Is it organic sounding, or does it sound like
Definitely
mechanical?
definitely organic sounding.
It's a super predator.
Super predator.
So this fissure probably runs deeper than the thing itself, and something from below here is coming up.
It's quite large, and it's pretty deep. So that is a good guess.
Okay.
So the question is, do you want to push on, or do you want to
Brace for impact.
waste? Well, I don't want to say waste time. There's advantages to either side. Spend time getting ready for an attack.
Who's all in this party? Sorry, I don't know if I know this.
Matthias the Minotaur, Hazani, Ware Grummy, and the Goliath barbarian, Garrick. The midget Goliath.
Yeah. Does he still have explosives? Because he really liked explosives.
You do not have any explosives with you.
Okay. They do have Ware Grummy. They could continue and lay some sort of trap in their path in order to deal some damage to something that might choose to follow them or deter it. And then if it catches up, it will be already injured if it chooses to follow. If not, it just goes away. I don't know if that's something they can do as they move along relatively quickly. Or, I guess, maybe it would be the decision of stop and prepare to fight, stop for less time, prepare a trap, and keep going, or a different option.
Just keep going.
Just go Pall Mall.
Yeah.
That's my thought. I will also be perfectly fine with just letting them.
Yeah.
So I'll just say real fast that I feel like the instinct would be to either option, and I feel more strongly towards this first one, to be keep going, or stop for very minimal time and lay a trap, and then keep going. But more the first one.
I would agree. I think keep going.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
So your group keeps going. Somebody make a d20 roll. This would be a survival check, which your group would be good at, so you get +5.
So 16.
16 is pretty good. So you outpace the clicking sound. It sounds for a bit like they are pursuing you, and then they relent and head back the other way.
Where Grummy's a ranger, does she have pass without a trace? Is that not a ranger talent?
It's what I figure into the +5.
Okay, I was like, I didn't know if rangers had that or not. That's all.
Yeah, no. It's these mini games. I try not to be super specific.
Yep.
And just more general. Try to lump everything.
Copy that.
How good of a plus or a minus that you get. So after about a half an hour of traveling through this fissure, the team busts out into the cavern that has the bones. Some of them have toppled down into the fissure. You can see them stuck a decent ways down. Others are, the crack runs all the way through this room and then into the other side of this room. You can see the main entrance, and there are guards at this entrance, but they are facing outward, not inward.
But what kind of guards?
They appear at this distance to be dragonborn.
Good ones or bad ones?
Yeah. I was gonna say
I don't know if we know.
The dragonborn race doesn't necessarily rely on color to determine its alignment.
Right.
Dragons as a whole don't either. They just have personality traits that lend themselves more one way or the other.
Right. But do we... gosh, is there any way to tell if, like, the tomb itself has guardians, or if...
No. These are obviously dragon cultists.
Thank you.
They're wearing the garb of the dragon cult.
Yeah.
they're just waiting for others to help carry these out.
Yeah.
It looks more like they're this room at the moment.
Like what?
Like they're set to defend this room at the moment.
Ambush them.
Yeah. I think a couple of those guys should be able to pull it off.
Yeah,
I just
absolutely.
want to make sure I'm understanding this right. So they're set to defend this room
From the outside, the other way, not from the fissure.
No.
So
like,
there has been an ongoing skirmish down here between the dwarves and your team and the dragon cult, and they've been pushing back and forth for control of the rooms. Currently, the dragon cult has the upper hand,
okay.
And so they have left behind people to guard this room in case the dwarves push back.
Sorry, and I heard you say Dragon Cult, and for some reason I still just got hung up on that we didn't know like who these particular Dragonborn were affiliated with, but you did
Oh,
say.
yeah, no, they're
sorry,
definitely they're definitely cultists.
I don't know why I just totally. Yeah, okay. Yeah, so ambush them. Yes, I totally agree.
Yeah.
All right, so you have a good ambush group here. So let's
Yeah, they
let
do.
me make a d20 roll
I
at
think it's-
advantage with a +3.
Oh, thank you. Your
May-
combat.
may I?
Get it done. Yeah, yeah. You're the one. You're the man. The
Alright.
man, the myth, the Othig. Yeah, buddy.
Oh,
Yeah,
there you
that's
go.
really nice. So everybody, even the plate mail
Even Matthias.
wearing Minotaur. You just never underestimate a Minotaur when they need to be sneaky.
For real. Freaking. I'm sad Andy's not
Especially
here.
if they're played by Andy. Anytime Andy really clutch needed to sneak with his Minotaur,
Dude.
like his Minotaur
Scooby-Dooed
paladin,
it.
He was like 19, 20s. He was just Andy about it every stinking time. So, yeah, they sneak up on him. What's the Goliath's name? I can't remember his name.
Carrick.
Carrick grabs one around the neck and busts his neck, and Matthias impales one right as Grummy looses an arrow into one. Another turns to run, and Hazani casts Hold Person on it as the others jump it and drag it back into the room, and you guys very effectively dispatch the guards without alerting anyone else to your presence.
That's right. That's how the Granitebex do.
So, you a couple of things happen during this fight, though. The Dragonborn don't have much of a chance to respond or react, so you don't actually watch the way they fight or anything like that. But there is something very unique. These Dragonborn, they are not stereotypical. Dragonborn are more humanoid than dragon. These guys are more the reverse.
Are these
Half
oh crap!
dragons.
What are those things called? The dragon kind from Dragonlance. What are those things called?
Half
They
dragons.
are.
They're called half dragons.
No, they're not. They're called something specific, and I'm totally blanking.
No, they're called Draconians in
Draconians. That's what they are.
Yep. But no. See, that doesn't track perfectly either because those are only metallic colored. These are a mix of metallic and chromatic.
These guys evil.
But there is definitely something different. Like they only have 2 claws and a thumb claw. Their toes only have 2 large claws. Most Draconian or Dragonborn have a much more humanoid looking hand and appendage system.
Are these fiendish in any way?
Their necks are much longer. They have tails, which Dragonborn don't have.
Mm-hmm.
So there's something very unique about them. I'm sorry, T. What'd you ask me?
I
Are
asked if they were
fiendish?
fiendish in any way. If we have anybody that would be able to find that out.
Yeah, Hazani would be able to find that out.
Matthias
And
might know as well.
Oh yeah.
yeah, either of those two. There is not
Okay.
anything fiendish about them.
So they're not Abishai of any kind.
Nope.
That's good because those things are terrifying.
Yep. So
Do
you have.
would they be? Well, they're not Abishai, but they're not fiendish. But I was just thinking, are they more related to Tiamat? But
That would be fiendish, yeah. Anyway, we'll figure it out soon, I'm sure. We should press the advantage. And what's the term, Ryan? You have the ability? Pincer. The bad guys. Between where we are and the dwarven front.
I thought we would want to stay here now that we're here.
yeah,
Why?
I mean, part of me is like, with the 4 of them,
Yeah.
able to effectively cavalry them.
I think so.
It's entirely up to you guys.
I think they're capable enough. They're seasoned adventurers.
Was
How-
the plan to hold this area or to alert back up to get to this area?
The original plan was to capture a target and hold it from the dragon cultists. However,
we've
that
done.
plan, sort of, you guys have it right now, but Tony's right. There is an army of dragon cultists out there being led by a black dragon that are currently assaulting the last of your forces.
Right. Who
But
have
if you
no
can think
idea.
of a creative way to take their prize, then that's
If
a
we-
victory as well.
If we go anywhere in the room, does like a blue like capture bar above it?
Dang it, they're taking the barracks again. We need a
I
turtle.
hope not, because that means everybody's gonna know in about 30 seconds that you
Yeah.
have it.
Yep.
Are we
Yeah.
in Warsong Gulf?
Freaking horde are taking the barracks again.
So you have several options of what to do here. Some of them are more tactical than others, or you can be really creative with what you have going on.
How big are the bones?
They're dragon bones and they're large. This group might not have seen ancient dragons, but they are larger than an ancient dragon would be.
Yeah. The shepherd sized.
Put them in a bag of holding.
Nah.
They are too big for a bag of holding.
Wow.
Some of them aren't.
Shrink them.
But you do not have anybody with that kind of magical capabilities.
I think we should press the advantage, get the drop on the individuals that have no reason to believe that anything would be coming from behind them, use that pincer, and get the rest of the dwarves in here to get these bones. And we'll hold this with the rest of the dwarven army.
I know you didn't want to get into like individual spells, but like would
Not as much. Like, I don't mind a little bit, especially with this group, because this group is definitely a story leverage group for the world and not just
Right.
guild mission.
would they be able to create like a hallucinatory terrain type thing and like make it look like the entrance to that caved in?
I don't think anybody's got that level of spell in this part.
Okay.
Yeah.
Hizani
the only person
would be
that
the only one who could, and I don't
Yeah.
think it's in her spell set.
I think that's correct.
Might not be. I don't remember who has. I know druids do, but I don't remember who else.
Momentum.
How big is the cave area that they'd be walking into?
The
That like
tunnel
the exit to the bone room.
the exit to the bone room is about 30 feet around. The hallway outside is about 50. The bone room itself is massive. It's about
Massive.
300 feet in diameter.
Yeah, but if the four of them go take the army and pincer attack,
Yep.
it's not a large enough, it's not a small enough tunnel where the tanks can stay up front and the caster and where Grammy can stay in the
Right.
back, then they'll just get mobbed and eaten.
Maybe, but I think showing up out of nowhere from a vantage point that is unexpected would be enough of an advantage, but that's just I guess grandiose thinking, not like
Right.
I know this.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think if we were the ones in the fight and someone showed up behind us, we would panic.
I mean, we would absolutely not panic. You might. But between Othig and I, we can pretty much be anywhere we want in a battle.
Sure.
But
You guys aren't part of the dragon cult.
but obviously, right? Obviously, an adventurer versus
Right.
somebody, a private in an army
Yeah.
is going to be on two different levels.
Even in a dragon cult.
Right.
Do it.
I think we need something more than just rush up their back.
Divine intervention.
Matthias himself can hold a 15-foot circle.
Right.
Well, I guess he's that big.
Have
Well, he uses pole arms, so he's 5 feet. You know, he takes up a medium-sized creature square, but his range is
like Ryan's.
sizable.
Yeah.
Have Wargrummy cast divine intervention, or not Wargrummy, Hazani.
She's not a cleric.
She's a cleric. She's a life cleric.
She is?
Yeah, she's a clerk.
Oh, I was thinking yeah, you're right.
Yeah, Phil's girlfriend, not yours. Wrong girlfriend.
Yeah.
Yep, she is a level 10 life cleric.
Dude, absolutely. DI.
Yeah.
All right, somebody just roll a d10 since she's level 10. You need a 1.
Oh, is that what it is?
You have to roll your level or less on a d100. So.
Oh, okay.
Same odds at this point. So
I
if somebody
guess
wants to roll a d10.
I brought it up. Yeah. Ah. Balls.
Nope.
All right.
There will be no divine intervening today.
Well, someone's deity's gonna, just not hers. Pincer. I vote for Pincer. And I think everyone in the party would agree with me, but not our party, their party.
I mean, I think Carrick would agree with you.
I think Matthias absolutely would. He's the one training Othig, and where Grummy wants to kill everything. I think Hazani would be the only one to be like, I don't know. We want to be all defensive.
I don't know. She's pretty ready to call down a firestorm.
I think you should play Hazani more often.
My next character, I promise, right? I'll be a girly girl.
That's great. I'm so happy.
I'm gonna play Othig's girlfriend.
He doesn't will never happen.
A sentient polearm. Named Methuselah's stick. Yep.
What do you?
I think we
what
voted.
do you think?
We voted. It's in. We're good. Pincer it.
All right.
I'm fine with it.
There we go.
All right, that's what's happening then. We voted apparently.
Well, we voted for the party by going, what would the party do?
I think we're trying to all take heed on what Adam started conversation with at the beginning
Also
of the
that.
night, so.
Okay.
And Adam's in
So,
charge, so.
Somebody who hasn't rolled yet, go ahead and make your d20 roll. You are coming from a direction they do not expect, so you do have advantage.
I think it's my turn.
Yep, you're up
It's
then.
your turn.
And this is a decent +3 to see if you surprise them. This is the surprise roll.
Oh, they're gonna surprise him. Just you watch.
Hey!
Told ya.
That was
Gosh.
a beefy roll.
Yeah.
Very nice.
Out of 10.
So you have absolute surprise. What your team sees is your dwarves are holding the line, sort of. They have pulled away from the fissure, and they are now more on an angle because an enormous amount of large, two-legged, feathery, like bird creatures with these massive hook arms, bone-bladed hook arms, have come up out of the fissure
Hook
and are tearing
horrors.
at both the dragon cultists and the dwarves.
That's our fault.
And so both of the groups are dealing with each other and these creatures. And in the back, you see this large, very large black dragon overseeing its forces, and every once in a while spitting acid out onto the dwarf.
What a jerk.
But it's sitting in the back, like just spraying it out over its forces at your forces.
Oh, yeah. Jump that douchebag.
So you can attack the dragon, or you can attack the cultists.
He's all by himself. 4 guys against a black dragon. They got this.
Yeah.
Hop that sucker. Pop
Okay.
him like a
So
acid
this will be
pimple.
a combat roll. So this is a +5, and
Oh,
it
dude.
is at advantage because you do have surprise on the dragon.
Yes. Othig, pop it.
The whole thing's not here.
Sorry, Ryan.
What do you want me to roll?
A 20 plus 5.
D20 +5.
At advantage. At advantage.
At
advantage.
advantage even. Oh my goodness.
Oh, I was gonna say. Oh. Bye bye, dragon.
So your team just makes a mess of it. Matthias goes running straight up its back and just shoves his polearm right into the base of its neck. And as it rears its head back, Carrick goes running up and jumps off of Matthias and just grabs it by the head and swings around and plants an axe on the side of its head. And as it turns around to look back at where it's coming from, where Gummy looses several arrows straight into its mouth. And so it's flailing around and it's about to get reinforced by all of the dragonborn near it, and all around it, Hazani just drops a blade barrier. So it's just tearing into the side of the dragon and all of the forces on the side that are now trying to turn around to help it, and it takes moments,
Yeah, yeah.
and this thing comes crashing down.
Dude,
Nice.
Adam, do you remember Sean's signature move when we used to play up in Seymour? The rectal
I think about
blender.
it all the time. I think
What
about it
was it?
all the time.
The rectal
Remind me.
blender. He would
Yeah,
get
all the
underneath his
time.
target because he was a little fella, and he would just. I put my dagger in the air, and whatever I hit, I hit.
I've occasionally made comments in the 2+ years that we've been playing about
Yep,
it.
yep.
Yep.
So that's what this is. Hazani just cast rectal blender on the
Yeah.
dragon.
Very nice.
All right.
So yeah,
All right.
that was a
Yes.
victory, not just a success. It was a full-on victory. So
Oh
Like, I
man.
still have vivid images in my head of what it would look like for a dwarf to be doing that from the ground level.
yeah,
Just twirling daggers.
Carlos the dwarf. Stabbing
Yeah,
furiously
that's what it
in the
was.
air.
Carlos.
Like, this is one of those images that will never go away for me.
It's like Drax but laying down.
Yeah, totally is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
Why
So,
is
you guys
Gamora?
have definitely turned the tables on this. The hook horrors are slicing their way through both sides of the forces
Oops.
still. But now, let's see. You guys get to make another combat roll as your
Oh,
forces
no.
press the issue.
Is
The
this
dragon
still
cult
plus
forces.
5?
It's at advantage and +5 because
Okay.
you eliminated the dragon in a round.
Yeah.
So,
With a rectal blender. Oh.
ooh,
I didn't know I could do that.
that's not good at all.
Oh well.
Okay, so what happens is it's not so much a failure on the part of the team. They're doing their job, but the hook horrors have swung north and have stopped fighting the dragon cultists and turned on almost completely on your dwarves.
Boof.
So your dwarves are hurting bad. There are very few of them left. They do a good job fighting the hook horrors off, but it is not looking so good for them. So the next round of this combat, you no longer have advantage, so it is a combat roll +5.
That's you, Thanos. There you go, baby.
21.
That's
So
right.
that is a success. So you do not lose any more of your dwarves. You are able to cut through the dragon cult forces to rejoin the few troops you have left. And now I need one more to see how this turns itself out. There are still a few hook horrors left, and a handful of cultists. Your forces are fairly evenly matched at this point in time.
I never hear the second set of R's in that
Plus 5
mic.
still?
+5.
Need to emphasize your second set of R's and horrors.
Oh, okay.
Hook horrors.
Horrors.
Hookers.
Ladies of the night.
So, the last of your dwarves fall,
Boo.
and a handful of cultists are left. You managed to eliminate all of the creatures. I need one last one to see if your team, if anybody on your team does not make it through this.
Alright. Oh, 13. That's over 10.
13 is just enough to get a success.
Good.
It's not a triumph, but it is a success.
Alright.
So your team manages to eliminate the last of the dragon cultists that were in this battle. They have secured the hallway. Unfortunately, none of your troops have survived the fight. But you guys do now hold the hallway, and you have secured the bones.
Got him. Call for
Alright.
reinforcements.
Could have gone a lot worse.
Yeah, I mean, are there reinforcements?
Up top, I'm sure somewhere.
I mean, not for now.
Might be somewhere, but for now there are not.
Gotcha.
And that's it. That's what happens to the Chosen. You guys Granitebacks are hanging out with General Gravel Boots, who has not heard about how that is going down there.
Is there any way for
Is
them
that-
to radio back?
Is it long rest time, and this is where we call it?
It's kind of what I'm thinking. I just wanted to make sure you didn't have anything else to do with the general before we did that.
Well, if we're there and they haven't heard from our allies, would we want to send a message to our allies to see how they're
you
doing?
We're not supposed to.
Yep.
I don't. First of all, I don't even know if we know specifically who's down there.
No, we don't.
You do. Yes, you do.
Oh, we do?
Do we?
Yeah, you've been back to the keep. Everybody has informed you that these
Oh.
4 took up the mantle and
Okay.
disappeared. But you also know, T, that no one has been able to contact them since they left. You know they're not dead, but they
Yep.
haven't. You haven't been able to talk to them.
Have I tried? Have we sent a sending, or has that happened?
I don't
People
think we
have tried
but-
sending.
Okay.
It just comes back staticky.
Right, but we are also chosen. Do we feel as though that may make a difference? Because
I
we
mean,
are also chosen
are
of the
all-
queen?
I think we're all pretty hardcore perfectionists, so there's probably a point where we're like, yeah, but like, I bet my sending will. So if you want to use a sending, you can feel free.
I kind of do.
I mean, go for it.
Okay. I'm going to send Hazani a message.
Okay.
Um,
No response.
Oh, okay.
You definitely get the sense that she is alive.
Yeah,
That the spell should have worked, but there is a barrier blocking communication.
okay. I was just going to tell her she should call her brother.
Would we ask the general what he needs us to do after we patch our wounds and rest a bit?
He wants to know if you're planning on staying in the city long.
Yeah, we have a place over in the rich district that's been paid for us.
He just kind of looks at you and then he shakes his head a little bit and he says, "Well, I suppose I'm not surprised. You are quite famous around here, even though you're not live-in citizens."
Yeah. I'm Jeffrey, by the way.
Right.
Is there anything else we're supposed to do for this guy? Because if not,
You had nothing else to do for him.
yeah, I will just to the party say, well, then we should probably go take care of. And I don't know the magistrate's name, but we should go. I'll just say we should go take care of what he asked us to do.
Do we feel like we have completed our mission here?
Your mission here was to stop the many-faced lord from acquiring something, and you definitely stopped him from infiltrating the network, the brain
Man,
network.
guys, if we would have just let him be in there, the Inevitables would have killed him instead.
Not necessarily.
Well, that's fair.
I mean, like, people keep telling us not to mess with stuff, but
We keep finding stuff. If it wasn't supposed to be
stuff.
found, we wouldn't
Yeah.
find it.
right.
That's how Jeffrey feels about trespassing. If I'm not supposed to be there, why am I here?
Yeah.
Make it harder to get here. I am. What is it? I'm
And
auditing.
yet-
I'm auditing your security.
I'm ready to hear that we took a long rest.
Right? Yeah.
I think I'm
Yeah.
fine with that. And honestly, like, you know, Thanik is still under the impression that he is doing the Lord's work by screwing everything up.
I mean, Jeff isn't going to argue with on that now that he is firmly on the path of the martyr. I actually named my smite what is it? What did I? The firm rebuke of the martyr.
Yeah. All right.
All right, yeah, I'm totally cool with that. I don't know. I've never met this dwarf before, right? Like, for
No,
any
you
reason.
did not have.
Okay, I just wanted to make sure because I don't know where I've been or what I've done. If he was a general with the emperor, if I would have any
was not.
affiliation with him.
He
before.
was promoted because of all the good things he did alongside of this group.
Gotcha.
That's where
Okay.
his promotion track started, and then he proved himself. He definitely proved himself.
Yep.
But his fighting at the gate, and then during the siege of the city, and all the other things, that's kind of what lit the fuse on his career skyrocket.
Yeah. So as we go to bed down, as we go to sleep, I would make sure we use all of our magical wherewithal to make sure that we are privatized.
Yeah, I was gonna. I know Andy's not here, but I would ask Mav to use his true sight to see if there's any.
Okay.
Well, we can do that. We can do this in the mansion. We can stay in his place, but we can stay in the mansion.
That's true.
Yep. And the last thing I just kind of want to give us as our.
You already used that.
I'm full power.
That's true.
I have all of my magic back.
True.
Somebody bestowed me with the graces of full magical ability.
Yeah.
Because the DM wanted you to kill everybody, and then you were like, "Wait, I didn't listen to the DM. I have all my stuff back."
I was gonna say I wouldn't have been able to kill everybody. I just would have been able to make them kowtow before the dead god.
Yeah.
But yeah, I can mansion this up, and then I want to go through my notes. And I'm gonna pull up my notes and show them to Thanak and bring up the unicorn
Dude,
from
Othic's lucky. You guys are never gonna miss a nat one.
from the Shadowfell.
Wait, what? What?
The unicorn from the Shadowfell.
Yeah. I don't, oh, do you mean the black unicorn?
Yep. We should
was his
start
name?
with him as we start to look for a cure for
I'll get it in a minute.
the unliving. It was a U. It started with a U.
No, that was Ulrin.
Yeah.
It's not a U. I don't think.
I thought it was. I thought it was a
Maybe
really
it
cool
is.
U name. I'm sure he's in your NPC list.
He is in my NPC list. I'll have to track him down later.
Yep.
So, as you guys get to the embassy where your suite is,
Yep.
You see a woman there. She is dressed in
Lady in red.
a fine dress, but you can tell it is armor that she has. She is wearing chain and leather armor kind of built into this dress. She has long red hair that is woven into a tight braid, and she eyes you as you come in, and as soon as you can tell she's sizing you up to see if you're the people she's waiting for. She gives you the sign that she would like to have a discussion with you. Yes, Jeffrey.
Jeffrey would. This is what Jeffrey's doing. As she's looking at them. We really need to go to sleep. I mean, you could come with us.
No.
Not insinuating anything. Sorry. And Jeffrey's just gonna he's clearly exhausted. He's like, I'm not asking you to sleep with us. I'm just saying if you want to sleep. That's all right.
I'm not asking you. I'm just saying if you want to.
I think we can have a conversation first.
She just kind of smirks and she's like, "Well, I'm game for whatever."
Ulrin?
Oh my god.
I need a moment of your time, and I need to ask some sensitive questions.
Let's do that in the mansion.
Don't invite her to the mansion. You don't know who she is.
She's pretty.
Oh,
Yes,
thank
which
you.
is why exactly you should not invite her to the mansion.
I mean, I keep letting you guys in there and it breaks. Maybe if I let somebody pretty inside, it won't break this time.
What if
Maybe
she's-
it'll break worse.
She's a
You've
fire
made a fair
vampire.
point. All right.
Yeah.
She looks at Jeffrey and she pats you on the head. She says, "You are sweet, dumb but sweet. Your friend is right. You should not let me into your mansion."
I'm the one with 8 intelligence. 8.
Yes, and you're still smarter than Jeff.
That's what I'm trying to say.
Is that true? Am I that dumb?
So you guys are having a discussion as you're walking
Not
up the
quite
stairs
that
to your
dumb.
room. She introduces herself. She says, "My name is Sylvia Duwarden." She's like, "I work for a mutual acquaintance of ours."
Is this the Sylvia that El Buscador hates?
This is.
I hate you. Because Jeffrey loves her.
As you get to the room, she closes the door behind her, and she puts her hands on it. And she mumbles something, and Mav would watch as a seal of non-detection spreads across the area. And she would turn around and she would look at you, and she would say, "The name Basil Desperanza. Mean it."
I feel like we've heard it before.
Yeah, that name.
That's the Silver Dragon lady.
Nope. I don't know if you guys would remember it or not.
Basil.
I feel like I've read it.
Basil Desperanza is the son of the Necromancer King.
Oh,
Yes.
You guys
Yep.
assassinated when we
Yep.
played the assassin short in Delaware.
That's the guy that Bolwin is supposed to train.
Yep, that's true.
Yep.
That is Volwyn's mission as a
Yep.
revenant, is to go and find that child and train him.
Yeah.
So,
okay.
and that's where we're gonna stop.
Oh, we didn't even get arrested. You said if we do something stupid. I felt like we did everything right.
What did she say? How that she's a what of Basil? She's
A friend.
No, she's not a friend of Basil. She is a friend of a mutual acquaintance.
Which, at this point, would probably be Titanbrook?
It'd be either Titanbrook or Lady Adahorn. She works directly
Right.
for Lady Adahorn, who runs the Stolregard Barony in Delaware.
Right.
What did she? Why did she bring up Basil? I don't remember.
We don't know
asked
yet.
if the name
Oh, okay.
Basil Desperanza meant anything to you.
Okay.
Which it does. We know that is the son of the Necromancer.
I don't know if we know that.
Jeffrey would,
Yeah.
at very least from legend lore. But
How would Jeffrey ever have investigated that?
his legend lore led him through all the things with the granite backs, which probably would have led him through Titanbrook.
Yeah, I don't know if that would have come up though.
No,
Maybe.
I mean, that's one of those tertiary things to where.
sure, because
I mean,
Titanbrook.
it's not uncommon news that when Louis Desperanza was assassinated, that someone back home killed his wife and his eldest son, but the youngest son escaped
Right.
or disappeared. Nobody ever found his body.
Gotcha. I assumed that was part of the knowledge that I would have had, but I shouldn't. Okay.
I think that's a little
Far-reaching.
but it's at the same time it's fairly common, like upper class knowledge that.
Oh, okay. So
it all
someone
works.
within the King's Court would have known.
Yeah.
Okay.
So maybe.
Maybe.
But yeah, that's who we're gonna start with next week is Sylvia. And
Why do you
mystery of
torment me
Basil
with her?
Desperanza.
I'm gonna stop the recording.